Mark Daly for the Task Force Online with Rea Carey, Task Force Executive Director. Rea, how are you?
Well, I'm great. It is quite a week. It's the Wednesday of this week, and we could have a Supreme Court ruling tomorrow. We could have it next week, but already it's been a big week for the LGBT community. And I just came actually from the State Department's Pride celebration at which Secretary Carey spoke quite movingly, as did Congressman John Lewis, about our community and how far we have left to go, even though we've made progress.
Well, there's lots of speculation. Is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it even on Friday, the very last day, that they can possibly issue rulings? But let's read between the lines a wee bit on the decisions. I mean, regardless of whether it's the best case scenario or worst case scenario, give us some insight into what might come out of the decisions, apart from obviously a big ruling on marriage.
Well, there are actually a few decisions that we're watching. We're watching the two cases on marriage, but there's a very important case on voting rights and one on affirmative action. So we're looking at all of those. I'll speak to the marriage ones for now, though. There's a lot riding on these cases, and yet we know that the day after the ruling comes down, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and get to work. What's riding on these cases, part of it's about our basic humanity. I want to be seen. I want my marriage to be seen. I want to be valued by this country in the same way that my straight friends are. But there's also a lot of issues around economic security at stake here. Social security, the ability to sponsor your partner if they're not a United States citizen. So many of the benefits, we talk about the over 1,100 benefits that come with being married in this country federally. A number of them have to really do with our economic security of our families, the ability to stay in our home if our partner dies, or in Edie Windsor's case, the case that is before the Supreme Court. What happens when our partner dies, and what might be at stake for our families?
So you could say that some of these things directly affect a person and a couple's ability to access what we often like to call the American dream. All of those things that go into having the life that we think and call the American dream here in the United States.
Absolutely. We know of couples across the country when their partner has died, because they can't get their Social Security benefits, they not only have to leave their home, they lose their home. That should not be happening in this country to couples who've been together for decades and have put into the system and should have the same economic security as their straight friends and family members. So there is a lot riding on it. These cases could come down tomorrow, could be next week. We don't know what's in the hearts and minds of the justices, so we don't know exactly how they're going to rule. I'm hopeful, actually, on both cases, but we don't know what's in their hearts and minds. What we know, though, is that the very next day, as we do every day at the task force, is we've got to wake up, roll up our sleeves, and get back to work. There are a lot of issues that affect lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people that simply aren't addressed through marriage equality. We're an organization that has worked for years in the states and federally to secure marriage equality. But we also work on things like immigration, certainly job protections. We're living in a country right now where even if you can get married, and you have the ceremony of your dreams and go away and come back and put a picture of your wedding day on your desk, you can get fired simply because of that. You can get fired simply because you're transgender. So we have a lot of problems to fix in this country, a lot of challenges that are faced by LGBT people. Those challenges don't go away the day after the Supreme Court rules on marriage.
Rea, for those watching this video podcast right now, where can people find out more about the task force and get involved?
Well, we'd love for people to get involved. We are blessed as an organization that for 40 years we've had a strong base of grassroots advocates and activists who are engaged in the work of justice and equality. For those of you who are new to the task force, we invite you to join us on Facebook at the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force. We're on Twitter at the Task Force. And you can find out more about our work at www.thetaskforce.org.
Rea Carey, thank you.
Thank you so much, and let's keep our fingers crossed for a big celebration.